Hello everyone, this is Godzilla-Wolf1 and I'm back with another video, and today's video I will be looking and giving my first impressions of Kamen Rider Saber. You really liked it when I did this with Build, so we're going to do it again. Sorry I missed it with Zero-One and Zeo, time did not allow for it. But let's take a look. All pictures will be courtesy of JE Fusion, link will be in the description below, or in like a card or something, so I will provide a means to see them for yourself. But anyway, let's take a look at this. First picture is, I've already seen a blurry version of this, but this is my first time actually being able to see his helmet in detail. And that helmet is awesome. That helmet is just plain awesome. I like the asymmetry to it. It kind of looks like a sword on one side, a flame on the other, which that is a cool design. And it kind of reminds me of Double, mainly due to the two halves sort of thing going on. And scrolling down, we get a bigger shot of it. And then we get his driver, which apparently is called the Seiken Sword Driver, and the gimmick this year are called Wonder Ride books. And I like it. It's ornately designed, and actually I just realized when the sword, which I'm assuming is going to be his main weapon, is slotted into the side of it, it looks like a larger, more ornate sword, and that is kind of cool. There were theories he was going to be like fantasy themed, and that looks like it's correct. I can't read what his main transformation device is on this picture. It's covered in like a flash there, but it looks like he slots them into his belt, they open up, and that's how he transforms. And it looks like he has it looks like there's 3 slots in the belt. Or maybe the second, what looks like a second slot is just so that that book has room to open when it activates. So it looks like he has at least the ability to transform by adding a second form to him. And the book, we don't see the book for his main transformation, but the second one we see here is called Peter Fantasia, which, for judging by the look on the cover, is basically Peter Pan. So he transforms with the power of Peter Pan. Well, a few years we did have a character who transformed with the power of Isaac Newton, so that is not too far out there. But it's an interesting concept. I like the idea of like fantasy engineers. That kind of sounds cool. But that's not all we've got. We've got another set of pictures up higher, and here we get to see Saber in his full glory. And yet it does look, maybe it's hard to tell because the one we saw was the toy version, but it does look like the sword that slots into the side of the belt does transform into his full-size sword. And once again, really like him, and I am getting a double vibe out of him because it looks like, okay, it looks like from how he transforms that it's going to cover half of his body each time he transforms, which is kind of cool. And it looks like he has a dragon for a shoulder pad. Can't go wrong with having a dragon for a shoulder pad. It looks cool. And I always like asymmetry. It looks like he has like writing on the bottom of his foot, which again fits his theme. He is a seems like he's a fantasy/book themed rider, which is kind of interesting. Let's see. Do they give details on what this form is called? His default form is called Brave Dragon, and that is kind of cool. And it kind of makes me think of Kamen Rider Brave, who is based off an RPG. And here we have some more pictures of his base form, which is, Brave Dragon, which, again, looks cool. I like that he literally has a sword coming out of his face. That is kind of cool. I like the asymmetry on this design, and I'm curious about a lot of things regarding this guy already, just from his design and his belt. But, yeah, he's looking cool. Like, his base form looks really cool. And, okay, here's a better picture of the text on the bottom of his feet. That's not kanji, so maybe there's like an in-universe language similar to what we have with the Grangi and the Overlords. That would be interesting. But yeah, it looks like that is indeed dialogue on the bottom of his foot, which makes sense. And then by using the Peter Fantasia book, he gets the secondary form, which, yeah, now I'm really getting double vibes out of him. And it looks like there's another form that's green over here. Both of them look really cool. Oh, and that's cool. At least the second form causes, like, vines to wrap up the horn on his head. That's cool. I can't really tell if the same thing happens with his other form. I guess that's the Peter Pan-based form. And yeah, in this one we can see that the belt does have those 3 slots, so the second book can open up. So you probably can only use 2 books at a time. Okay, do we have names for these? Yes, default is Brave Dragon, and it seems mythological creatures is the base. His default form is based off mythological creatures, while his secondary forms are based off mythological fairy tale characters. So, we know that second form, like the second sub form we know is called Dragon Peter, which I guess uses the Peter Fantasia book. It doesn't say what the second book is, but it's called Dragon Jackun, which I'm assuming is based off, and that actually makes the vine around his horn make sense, is Jack and the Beanstalk. Okay, this is cool. I like this idea. And the forms look cool. He definitely has the look of a cool rider. I'm curious about this guy. And here we have our second rider, who is named Kamen Rider Blaze, and okay, he uses... His base form is called Lion Shiki, or Shinkai. Shiki, Shinkai, I don't know. I like most of his design, but that lion head on his chest is kind of just weird. It might just be that it's so high up that when I guess he's preparing to do his rider kick there, it looks like it's merging with his face. And that's just kind of odd to me. Oh, okay, that's interesting, though. He uses the middle slot of the belt for his. Okay, that's interesting. So the second rider uses the middle slot of the belt, while Saber himself uses the sides. Okay, that is cool. I like that. It's a good way of making the belt have a unique trait to it without giving a completely different belt to the second rider. I like that. So yeah, the secondary rider is named Kamen Rider Blaze, and he has a lion-based form, which, again, overall, I like how he looks, but that lion head in the center of his chest is kind of a little weird to me. But, what you gonna do? And we've gotten we've only got really an announcement that there's going to be a press conference about it, so we'll probably find out more about it then. But at the moment, this is all we know, and I'm looking forward to this. Saber's design is just plain awesome. Like, I'm loving this guy's design. Especially the sub-forms where he gets the other half, because, yeah, it gives me a lot of double vibes to it, which, ironically, both of the Kamen Riders I've actually done this for give me double vibes. But I like the way it looks. The images are just too blurry for me to really get a good look at what the other books are called, but overall they look really cool. And I really like the design of his forms and the gimmick to them. I'm looking forward to this. I want to know more about it. So anyway, that was my first response to Kamen Rider Saber. Tell me what you think of his design and what we know of him so far in the comments below. See you guys next time. Bye! I still don't have a catchphrase.